All right, so what I have behind me here is a 4-person pop-up tent from Crown Outdoor. They've made some really bold claims in their marketing, and I'm here to put it to the test, give it a review, and see if this tent is worth your money. Right out of the box, the first thing that I'm noticing here is it's got this nice little carry bag, which makes it really convenient. I can kind of throw this right in the trunk and just kind of walk it around over to the campsite. It weighs about 15, maybe 20 pounds, so it's not the lightest tent that I've ever owned, but I can tell you it does actually, it packs down pretty small. So that's a point for Camel. Now, Camel says that we can put this tent together with one person in less than 60 seconds, and we're gonna put that over to the test. I've taken it out of the packaging and just kind of laid it on the ground, but I haven't done anything else. So let's start the clock and let's see if I can get this tent assembled. And I must say, this is the easiest time I've ever put up tent poles in my life. So 60 seconds, we're just about there. All right, so after watching the footage back, I was able to get this up in about 90 seconds, which is still respectable. It's not quite the 60 that Crown had claimed, but again, 90 seconds to set up a tent. I think my old tent I had was going on probably 5 to 10 minutes to set up by putting together all the little poles. These ones here, as you saw in the footage, they're already pre-attached, everything's already pre-hung, and it kind of just pops right into place. Solid, solid design. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get this here staked down using the included stakes and the rope to go ahead and make sure this thing doesn't blow away. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna find on the side of the tent, you've got these little flaps here, these little loops for where the rope is going to go in. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna take the end of the rope that doesn't have the plastic piece and just put a simple knot here and just kind of tie it. I'm gonna use a square knot because we're not camping in a hurricane. Once we get a simple little square knot in here, it's time to move onto the plastic end. Now, you wanna make sure that there's a little knot here on the end. You might have to tie a little over and through knot here, so we don't want this end to come out through the plastic. So what you're gonna do now is you've kind of got this like an S. You're gonna pull the side with the knot. You're gonna pull this kind of here and make a loop, and this is what's actually gonna get staked into the ground. So basically what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna take the end of the loop here that we've created, take the hook of the stake, and we're gonna put this one here right into the ground. It just rained, so our ground is nice and soft. Then we're just gonna pull on the plastic piece, and we're gonna put a little bit of tension, and that plastic piece is gonna keep the tension here on the rope. And then once we're set up, it's time to open the door and move inside. All right, so now we're here inside the tent. I've got everything closed, but the thing that stood out to me the most about this particular tent is that it is very, very tall. I am 6 foot tall, and I'm standing up with ease, right? I'm not gonna go dancing in here, but I've never been able to stand up inside of a tent. So Camel pitches this as a 4-person tent, so I went and grabbed my family, and we're all in here fairly comfortably. Now, it did get a little bit hot in here, so as you can see, we're opening up the windows. There's plenty of room for 4 people to kind of move around in here and open up a tent the way that we would like. I stepped out of the tent a little bit just to get the wider shot, showing everybody inside. It allows for a lot of ventilation, which I do like, and it was getting kind of stuffy in here beforehand, so if you're gonna be camping in the fall, this will keep a fair amount of heat inside. Up top, there's also other vents here as well. So if the wind blows through, it's not gonna pull up your tent. We've got one on either side. And again, I'm standing up, I'm 6 foot tall. I can't get over how tall this tent is and how nice it is as somebody who is taller. Something else that was a nice touch I found here in the tent is that Camel actually gave you this little hook here so you can hang a lantern and kind of keep everything here lit. This is something, again, I don't see a whole lot of in a lot of tents. Granted, my last tent was about 20 years old. And the final little feature that I found in this tent that could be really, really useful was on the side here, you've got this little flap with the little extension cord. So you can actually feed an extension cord through into the tent and keep everything kind of powered up. So if you've got a generator out here, or if you've got an extension cord, or power hookup, something like that, you can feed a cord through the tent, through this little flap, and you'll have night power all night long inside the tent without it being so super intrusive. And finally, is this tent worth the price tag? My honest thoughts on it, it's definitely not the cheapest tent on the market, but it's also not one of the most expensive either. So it is somewhere in the middle. So if you're looking for a cheap budget tent, this is not it. However, the fact that I didn't have to assemble tent poles and this thing popped up in about 1.5 minutes, I think justifies the price by itself. Anybody who's tried to basically put those little poles together, slide them through an X, tie them up, it's a pain in the butt. This was actually really easy to set up. The stakes were really easy with those with the little plastic bits on the end of the rope. Made tensioning the wind real easy. Definitely you're paying for convenience, but I think that convenience, that trade-off is definitely worth it. I would definitely recommend this tent as somebody who goes camping occasionally. Now, I don't know how this would hold up to frequent use in multiple seasons because I just got it and took it out of the box, but everything is double stitched. All the panels are double stitched together, and the fabric is also very thick. So I would be surprised if there was any issues with this over multiple seasons. Overall, I think this is definitely worth your money, and if you want to get one, go pick one up. Hey, real quick, if you like what you see in this video and you want to purchase one for yourself, I've left links to everything here in the description. And if you want more no nonsense, no BS product reviews, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss one.